I'm Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. It's the Monday show. You know what that means. We bring in the one and only Miss Anna Vocino. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Canned applause, baby.
Anna,
yeah.
You know, I love that they were like this emo couple and the whole thing. And as soon as they got famous, he just dropped Meg.
Yeah. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he just got rid of her.
Isn't that what everybody does when they get famous?
Yeah. It's like, you can go now. And by the way, your drumming sucked. So,
But wasn't that their bit though, that they were a couple?
Yeah, they were a couple, and I think there were only two in the band. I'm not really sure how that worked. I think he played all the instruments and she played the drums. Who knows? Who knows?
They had to have had somebody come play live with them.
I guess.
That would be very tricky.
Yeah, you would need a bass player at least.
At least.
What's
going on, Vin? How are you?
I'm having a bad day.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go, folks.
Yeah, hang on. Hang on.
Shoulder rolls, so warm up for this one. Yeah.
Now we're going serpentine back to your bedroom and just get under the covers.
Yeah.
Well,
we're just going to call it?
Well, there's something else I want to talk about today.
We could do the thing where you and I both just podcast from laying down in our individual beds. I wouldn't be upset at that.
Oh, listen, I'm not far from doing that. So it all started last night.
Okay.
I put a little life into living.
Uh-oh.
Folks, I'm here to tell you it's never worth it. It's just not worth it. And by the way, I didn't know I was going to be putting life into living, but it happened.
Sometimes it comes up as a surprise thing. Let me guess, you were with people who were doing something, or they bought you something, or they paid for something. You know what I mean? Generally, it's
I was at someone's house.
Yeah. And they're like, here, you have to have this. It's my famous XYZ. And then you're like, I'm an asshole if I don't have your XYZ.
All right. So it's the couple next door who we love dearly. And it's not their fault. And another couple, and I know the other couple also. So it's three couples. And so there we are. And, immediately get there and it's like, oh, I've worked on these, all afternoon or whatever. So I take one. I take a toothpick with the thing. I see ham wrapped.
What is it? What are you eating?
I see ham wrapped around. I figured there's going to be some kind of cheese in the middle, olive. I don't know what's in there, right? Well, it's how you say...
It's a bacon wrap date.
It's a date. Yeah. So, okay, no big deal.
I have a recipe for those in the first cookbook.
Yeah. So it's like a date is not a big deal. I'm good. But I'm not going to go back at the date again.
Right. You're not going to like pop a whole bunch of
got another thing, and it's a cheese thing.
Uh-oh.
Right? So, they put it in my face.
Nothing's wrong with cheese, though.
I put the cheese, and this is my special thing with the cheese.
Oh, is it in like a puff pastry?
It's on a cracker. So, okay, again, no big deal.
You had a cracker.
I'm a guy that lives in ketosis. A date and a cracker ain't kicking my ass.
Right.
But the other people that came to the party, he brought this special bottle of wine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now they pour me a glass of wine, and I'm drinking the wine. It's delicious, by the way.
I'm sure.
It's good wine. And it's one of those things where you put your glass down because you're mingling around the kitchen. Everyone's talking, making niceties. You go back, and now your glass is filled again.
Yeah.
Right? See,
that's the problem with wine. People don't really finish the glass.
Right.
You can't track it this way.
Right. So I'm still trying to pay attention. Right. I'm still on board. Now I'm interested. It's like, what are we going to have for dinner here? And it turns out
you got your wheels greased now.
Yeah. Well, it's a rib roast. So that's good.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I'm going to do the rib roast. And I noticed she made a salad. I went, oh, sometimes she makes the salad sweet, but she
Yeah.
didn't. She didn't make the
Okay.
sweet salad. It was good. And it wasn't drowning in dressing or anything. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to make it through.
That's a nice dinner.
Oh yeah, rib roast, salad, and they had carrots, where steamed carrots and the whole thing. I left all that alone, right? But I'm having a lot of meat, and the wine. Now they opened a different. Now it's a red wine, right?
Oh,
And they
I
pour it
just assumed you were having a red wine. So you had a bottle of white. They opened a
while
white with the
we're
appetizers and then red
right,
with the okay.
yeah. So that so now it was poured and in front of my thing, and he's explaining this is one of I brought this one back from the that boop bop,
Right.
right? So now I'm in. You in for a
Oh,
penny,
yeah.
you in
If
for a
somebody
pound.
says they bring the bottle back from the place, I'm definitely trying it.
This is and I'm going, okay, this at some point I'm going to cash in all of my ketosis chips, because me
Yeah.
who can stand ketosis through some of that stuff, there's only a limit to how far. It's like, okay, so I'm going to be running out of ketosis. It's okay. By midday tomorrow, I'll be
You'll
back
be
in.
fine. Yeah.
Right. So another wine happens. Okay. With dinner, but I'm eating a lot of meat and all this. So I'm still fine. Well, the wife brings out the special dessert.
I knew that was coming.
And so I take the minimal amount of dessert that you can take and look like you've had some.
Right.
It's delicious, by the way. So much sugar in it, right? Well, okay. I had well over 2 glasses of wine because I lost track.
Of course.
The dates, the this, the that. And now we're dealing with dessert. I know I'm out of dietary ketosis,
But
right?
you know that at least the meat helped you. It's not like you were having just carbs on an empty stomach.
Yeah, but right. I didn't just have carbs on top of carbs, but I know that, okay, I'm not going to even check in the morning, but man, that wine woke me up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was wide awake, sweating. Whenever those carbs run through me like that, whenever my body goes away from, I just break out into a sweat. It's like I hate to use this term, detox. Okay, doesn't this stuff is running out of me. The sugar's running out of me. The alcohol's running out of me, and I just have the worst night sleep from 3 o'clock on. I happen to notice Serena, who didn't drink anything, she was up too. She was
Uh,
already up. She couldn't sleep. And she got so hungry from eating the dessert, it made her feel hunger pains. She went downstairs and got some nuts, a handful of nuts, right? She's
uh-huh.
in bed eating nuts.
Yeah.
This was our night.
Right.
Now, people are going, what kind of pussy are you? Yeah, look, if you're not used to this stuff, that's what happens. When you eat that clean and then you go off for one night, this is what goes on. This is what happened to me. It wasn't good, right? So, yeah, will that be happening again anytime soon? Hell no. As you know, this
Right.
happens on occasion. I always call it the Kristen Scott Thomas syndrome, right? Whenever I'm around Kristen, I'll have some wine. Never that much. I never have more than a glass, and that never really knocks me out. But yeah, I kind of went for it last night and paid the price. And it always, I think about it, I was like, man, people eat like this every day, all day long, not just one meal.
Right.
This was just one meal.
Well, I think you said something very interesting about being able to tell, because I think that there's some long-termers, myself included, who when you try to push it a little bit, that is one telltale sign that you definitely pushed it when you wake up in the middle of the night and your tummy's grumbling. Because now you're back engaging your blood sugar instead of
Yeah.
running on ketones. And or you wake up and you're like, I am starving the next morning. It's generally because you had that crash after having too many carbs. So if you're out there and you're going, uh-oh, I did that the other night, I pushed it, I did wake up hungry, that's generally a sign like, okay,
And
maybe
by
don't
the
go.
way,
Don't
I
push it
did
that
not
hard next time.
I did not wake up and fast this morning. I woke up, I had 3 eggs,
Yeah,
cooked
you
in
got right
butter,
back on.
and right before I left the house, I had to go somewhere. I had a scoop of coconut oil, put it in my mouth, and then, got right back on it. But man, all day long, just tired and lethargic and this and that.
Yeah.
And then I somehow fucked up my lawnmower, which is
Yeah,
only
what
2 years
you have
old.
Band-Aids on your fingers. Is
Oh,
that
did
some
you do that? Yeah,
yeah.
I busted because I thought if I took the spark plug out, maybe uh, I got gas on the piston somehow, whatever. I got to bring it in. They got to tear down the engine. I thought about tearing it down myself, but it's under warranty. So, um, yeah, I busted my fingers. And then my favorite watch, I wear this Casio. It's called the Mudmaster. A lot of people ask
Mhm.
about what's that watch you wear? Love that watch to death. Apparently, when you take it apart to put a battery in it, it's a special thing. I brought it to a jeweler. She says, yes, we do this. I can do it for you. She puts the new battery in. I got it wet and I went to put it on today. And you can see the condensation underneath the
Oh,
crystal.
dear.
And of course, the watch is not working.
Yeah.
So thank you, lady, for fucking up my Casio. So it's been one of those days, right, where nothing. The only thing that went right was my espresso shots right before this
That's
podcast,
good. That's good.
and I'm looking forward. It's the 10th of April. I'm doing VIP tonight,
That's right.
so that always makes me happy. Which brings up another point.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, if you ask me to do this, you can guarantee the answer is no.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So if you ask me, what's the answer, Anna?
No.
No. Thank you. But over the past 2 months, I've had 3 different people. I've had several different people, but I picked 3. And I said, listen, one called me and goes, look, I've lost, 85, 90 pounds.
Mhm.
All of a sudden I started backpedaling. Life got in the way and this and that and the whole thing. I've gained 9 pounds in 7 days. And I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? We're talking every day, once every 24 hours. I want you to write to me. I need you to make 24 hours after 24 hours. Just put them together. We need to string some days together. That woman has now pretty much
Right.
lost all the way back and getting back.
And
Then,
we
then
talked about that a couple weeks ago on the podcast, so it's good to hear the update that she
right,
felt like the accountability was enough to get her going again. Another reason why people should join the VIP group if they need accountability.
right. So the second thing was another woman. There was several, but this other woman, again, long timer, done consults with me and the whole thing. I said, you're not paying me. I need to figure out what you're doing wrong. Same sort of story. I started with her before this woman, right?
Mhm.
Same sort of thing. She was in reverse by 12 or 13 pounds. Boom. She's back on target again. And I just started with the guy last week. He knows who he is. And hell, he wrote to me. He's already, I think, 5 pounds back in the positive direction. Let's see here.
Good.
I'll
That's
tell you
great.
exactly what he is. Yeah, down 5 pounds since last weigh-in on the 4th, and today is the 10th. So in 6 days, he's lost 500 pounds back. Now, folks, these are not typical weight loss. He had a lot of water weight in there. He was fucking up, and he's well into the upper 300s, maybe close to 400. So these people don't lose weight the way you lose weight early
Right.
on, especially when they start putting on water weight from fucking up.
Well, and
Oh,
you know how it is
hold on.
too.
Wait, there's more. Hang on, Anna. Hang on. And we used this woman's name on the show. So let me go find it. Megan, our Hoxie Fox. What do you guys call it?
Foxy Hoxy.
Hoxie. All right. My stamina is way better. I wore size 6 yesterday. I haven't been able to wear
Oh my
them.
god, that's
I'm
amazing.
not weighing it, but it's all moving in the right direction. Okay. She went, oh my word. I'm reading directly. Who knew rest days are what I needed? She was overworking.
Yeah.
It was her. There was
Also,
3 of
this is how I
her,
know it's her because she
Susie
says, "Oh my
Demeester.
word." That's her catchphrase.
Yeah, Midwest. Her, Susie Demeester, and I want to say Robin Dobbins. They're all 3 overworking
Isn't she from
themselves.
Seattle?
I don't know. Right? Midwest, Seattle, same thing. All
Same
right.
thing.
2 weekends in a row. I did 38 miles on a Saturday, 30 on a Sunday. Feel great. Thank you. But she's taking those rest days. She's taking Monday off, Friday off. Folks, you can't kill yourself. It doesn't work. You can't just keep overworking and think, oh, I'm
Right.
just going to overwork and somehow it's going to work out in the wash. It never does.
Well, great. Let me ask you, I'm going to segue this into a question for Anna that hopefully will help people who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about the life into living thing, and a while back I did the life into living thing where I had some corn because they were like, "Oh, we made you these homemade corn tortillas because you're gluten free," and then of course I'm going to have one because I'm not going to be an asshole.
Right.
And I've noticed that every time I have corn, which is why I have it very rarely, I wake up and I feel like I have arthritis settled into my joints
Yeah.
without fail, and I'm always like, it's corn because I don't have that feeling any other time. Well, I haven't had corn in ages, and I woke up this morning with such a knee pain when I walk around on my knee, and even when I press not the patella, but the bone, to the side and the inside of the knee, when I press it, it's so tender. And I'm like, I haven't put life into living. I haven't had alcohol. I haven't, I don't know what it is. And then I was like, well, I did do a really kind of tough, but it was Pilates yesterday. And I did a long, like hour and a half long hike. And so I'm like, could that be an overtraining thing? Even though I didn't feel anything
Yeah.
go ping or anything like that.
No, it's just overwork because when you hit a certain age, Anna,
Oh
you got to
God.
really pay attention to it. Look, I have to pay attention to it. I can't go like I used to. I
But it felt
cannot
so
do it.
good to go.
I know it does. So you got to pick your moments and go hard, and then you got to rest.
It feels like
Right.
someone injected straight masa into my kneecap.
Yeah. I don't know what masa is, but yes.
Masa is the cornmeal that they use for the thing. But like I said, I haven't eaten any corn in months.
Right.
And I haven't eaten any sugar in months. There's been nothing.
It's the way it happens, Pumpkin. I'm telling you, I cannot do what I was able to do at like 45 and even 50.
So I just rest it. Do I have to ice
You
it?
got to
You're gonna tell me
rest.
to ice it.
You got to get rest. And listen, today I was so pissed off. I was feeling creaky from eating all that crap last night. I went to the gym. It was leg day.
Yeah.
I did 3 sets of lunges each leg, 25 reps, no weight. Because my hips and my knees and everything, I felt 1,000,000 years old. I did
Yeah.
3 sets, 75 lunges on each leg. It was enough to warm me up. I did a couple of sets of squats just with the bar, and then literally put a 10 on each side and did another warm up. That was 3 warm up sets. And then I just did 4 sets, with some weight on it, some actual weight. And then I went over to the leg press machine, did some leg press, did some calf raises, and walked out of there feeling like $1,000,000.
But
It,
that
you know,
still sounds like a regular leg day. Like, what am I missing? You would have done
uh,
Bulgarian with weights or something, or like
yeah,
what
or
would have been
I
different?
might have done. I might have put the strap around my waist, so maybe done, and done squats that way, or I might have done, hip thrust with weight across my hips.
Mm,
I would have added something else in there,
okay.
or if I didn't do one of those 2, I would have done deadlift, right?
Okay. Because
So
it
I
sounds
just
like when you said 75 reps on each leg, like that I would then I left. I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense."
that
You're
was
like,
warm.
"So I
Yeah,
did
I
75
used
on each leg to warm up." I was like, "Wait, what?"
yeah, yeah, 25, 25, back and forth until I had 75. And then I was nice and warm. Then I even, I wanted to make sure my back was buying in and did a couple of sets with no weight, just getting down, greasing the skids. And once I knew I was already lubed up and a lot of synovial fluid going, a lot of pumping going on, then I got into some weights. And then I did some leg press. The lunges I looked at as a warm up, right? And then
I
the leg
guess. That's
press.
not how
And
I
then,
look at it, but okay.
I know. And look, if I
I'm just
count my,
being a voice of somebody else here who might be
I get
listening
it.
going, "Oh, if I don't do 75 per leg, I'm failing myself," and you're not. I'm just pointing that out.
Usually I'll do 25 on each leg and then throw a bar on my back and do another 20 on each leg and
Okay,
then start adding weight to the bar for 2 sets, and
got it.
doing like 12 to 15 per set
Okay.
with the bar. That's just the way I like to do it. high reps.
Listen, I get it because when I do lunges, I don't feel it as much as when I have weight, for sure. So, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. But I
I
didn't
get what
do
you're saying,
weighted
but
lunges. I used the lunges as a complete warm up today, and that was that. Right. I just had to get in there and do something.
yeah, that was that until you did 18 more exercises for on your leg day. But that was it, guys. That was all.
I'm a pro.
That's Vinnie on a bad day, okay? You're still amazing. You're
I
still
sounded like
Superman.
a fucking douchebag.
That's all I did, bro.
I'm so
That's all
sorry,
I
man.
can handle. I did like, I don't know, 39 exercises on each leg times 25 reps. I did 465 reps. And
I
then
just
that
sounded
was
like
it,
a bro.
though. That was it.
I sounded like Bro Namath right there. I
No,
was
no, you
silly
didn't. You didn't. It was just, I just had to point it out in case somebody's listening going, hold on.
I was
How
a
many
Pro
did you do?
DiMaggio. Yeah.
Bro DiMaggio. But that's it, because I had like one bite of carbs last night. So I did.
I was Bro Bonadonna.
Bro Bonadonna. Okay, well, let me
I was Pro
say,
Jackson. Wait, hang on.
oh yeah.
Anna, I got
No, keep
before we
shaming
get
us. Keep shaming the rest of us. Go ahead.
before we
What?
get into your shit, can I get one more thing off my agenda?
Of course. I was just going to segue it into doing the HIIT workout, but we'll talk because I know you're going to walk me through a whole HIIT workout.
Yeah, I'm going to walk you. We're going to talk about HIIT for the second part of the work, this whole thing, because Anna was asking me, were you asking me on the air or were we talking
No,
off the
I
air?
just called
I
you.
remember.
I was
Yeah.
so all proud of myself too.
Yeah.
You're
And
like,
I
you're
was
doing
like,
it all wrong. I was like, of course.
and you'll have to remind the audience as to how you were doing it.
Oh,
So
I will. Oh, I'm an open book, Vinnie.
right after we do the Villa Capelli break, we'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll talk about HIIT because, people ask me about Zone 2 all the time. We can talk about HIIT.
Okay. HIIT workout. Now.
Okay. All right, Anna, you called me and you said, hey,
Because you talked about it several episodes ago on your cardio 101. You talked about zone 2. You talked about what you do for your cardio. So I thought to myself, because you say you do a HIIT workout with your cardio once a week.
let me not I don't want people to get that the wrong way if they didn't hear that back episode.
That's what I heard, which was probably wrong.
Once, like whenever I would be training for, say, a long, bike ride, like one of my 500 plus milers, once I had 18 or so weeks in me, once a week, I would start doing, in the middle of a workout, I would do some intervals.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Usually
Okay.
5 or 6 intervals.
Okay. Now, I didn't hear the 5 or 6 part, but I heard the once a week part.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wait, let's go back. How many weeks do I normally have in me before I even start doing that of just zone 2 training?
6 to 8.
Wow. 16 to 18.
Oh, I'm sorry. 16 to 18.
Yeah.
I listen real good.
You gotta build up some mitochondria.
Okay. Well, I do a lot of zone 2 training almost every day.
Okay.
But I'm not training specifically for something. So I didn't think that I would be hurting anything if I started to do this particular protocol once a week.
All right. So talk about the protocol.
Now, here's why I say that is because since turning 50 last year, I'm almost 51, since having a full hysterectomy, including the ovaries being taken out, since going on HRT, I have not felt the same. In a lot of ways, I feel a lot better. But in a lot of ways, I'm worried. I'm worried about my strength. I'm worried about my bone density. I'm worried about my grip strength. I'm worried about my VO2 capacity. I am worried about these things. I've noticed a decline in my strength and my ability and the things that I do. So making sure that I'm doing enough strength stuff and basically everything that you're talking about so that I don't go into old age a little like hunched over old lady is important to me.
Right.
And I don't feel a steady decline. I feel like I jumped off of a cliff in the past year because of the hysterectomy and removing the hormones. And we're still trying to figure out what the balance is.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me do that. And also, frankly, some days I feel like I need to like emotionally do this. Does that make sense? To do the intervals emotionally feels good.
Look, Anna, I just talked earlier about going to the gym and just hammering my ass with squats and leg press
Right.
because I was angry about my watch and my lawnmower and, just trying to be calm about what goes on social media. And, sometimes life gets in the way and
That's right.
all the crap I ate last night. I was
Right.
having a rough moment. Feel better now. Nothing a few sets of squats won't
Right.
fit.
Can't help.
Yeah.
And that is true. I don't know why. I think because I was just so active as a younger person, I didn't associate the exercise with the feeling better, but now I realize that I have to do the exercise in order to feel better. But anyway,
Mhm.
so when I first started this, I'll usually go for a walk or a hike, and I do that for at least 30 to 45 minutes first, and then I jump back on the bike and do this thing. But last week when I called you, I didn't have time to do that. I did it cold. I warmed up for an hour on the I'm sorry. No, not an hour. I warmed up for 1 minute
Yeah. I was
on
about
the
to correct
concept
you.
2. Yeah, yeah. 1 minute on the concept 2, and then I did 30 seconds at full 30 seconds at full as hard as I could, then 30 seconds, not rest, but slow
Easy.
down, like where the pedals are going so fast, you're barely pushing them. And then I did that 10 times. So at minute 11, I finished the 10th. I'm sorry, minute 11 or 12. I can't do the math. 30 seconds,
So
10
if you did
times, and
10
then
of
30
them,
seconds rest 10
at
times.
11 minutes, you should have been done.
At 11 minutes, I was basically
30
done. And
on,
then I would
30
do a
off,
couple
and then
minutes just to
warm
kind of
up.
cool
Yeah.
down.
Right.
So that I tell you about this, all proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, Anna, you're doing it all wrong. And then you started to explain to me,
That's what I sound like.
Anna, Anna,
First,
what are you doing over there?
I had to get a squeegee and scrape my brains off the ceiling because my head exploded just listening to you say
I
that.
know. I could tell it was very difficult for you. So
Okay.
then you told me the right way. And I said, we need to talk about this on the air.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I said, you got to warm up.
Mhm.
Minimum 15 minutes, but I like to go 20, 25. When
I
I
hear
do that,
15.
she heard 15,
Yeah.
but
I'm just
I
telling you
like
that's what I'm going to do.
when I do mine, I go 30 minutes in
Okay.
zone 2.
So if I did the walk beforehand up the hill, that would have been better.
You still no, it would have been better, but you still got to get on that bike for 10 or 15 minutes, even with the walk.
You want the warm up to be on the device that you do the intervals on. Okay. I just want to be clear
Instead of,
about that.
like, the fact that you went up and down the hill, you're not cold, your lungs have been opened a bit, your
Right.
heart's been there a little bit. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
fine, right? That's okay. But you still need a good 10, 15 minutes, just
Okay.
warming up on the device you're going to
So
be doing
first
it.
point of clarity for me is to make sure I do the warm up on the actual device. 15 minutes minimum, preferably 20 to 25.
Yeah, and just for reference, I always do 30. I like to be lathered up when I
Okay.
start. Okay. And then you do all right. So here's the key, folks, and write this down if you're interested in doing this. Whatever you do on, that's the amount of time you take off. So Anna's gone 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, right?
And by the
So,
way, my hope was that if I do this maybe a few months or so when I work up 45 seconds on, 45, a
mhm.
minute on, a minute off, but I wouldn't go longer than a minute on because I don't think I can.
You would be surprised. I've worked it all the way up to 3 minutes
Oh,
on, 3 minutes
wow.
off. Yeah. Um, when you're in that kind of shape, to go do a race, right? So that's not unusual to get to 3 minutes
Okay.
on, but you go 30 on, 30 off, 30 on, and then 45 on, 45. Just click it up by 10 or 15
Okay.
seconds each time. You're doing this, by the way, once a week. You're not
Right.
doing this multiple times per week. I'll tell you why in a minute. When you get to a minute, it's minute on, minute off. Okay, you get that, right? Now, how many reps? Now, if you're going 10 reps, you're not
I
doing
was
it
so proud of myself that I did 10.
right. If you're doing that many, you're not doing it right.
I'm not
So
doing it right.
when I do it, I don't just speed up the RPMs. I'm also cranking it down a bit, right?
What do
The
you mean?
first one, I'm cranking more pressure on the machine. I'm not just
Oh,
spinning.
so that's more pressure and
Yeah,
faster.
right.
So it's more
So
difficult and more speed,
yeah, speed, and you add a little. And
resistance.
by the way,
Okay.
you don't have to crank it down. Just you would be shocked at what adding 15% to that, 10, 15% to that
By
will
the way,
do.
when you say crank it down, it sounds like you're turning down the resistance, but you're actually saying
You'll
you're
make it
turning up the
harder. Yeah,
resistance. Yeah.
yeah. You're making it tougher. So here's the deal: when you do your first one, your heart rate is not going to get to 100%. Right? Your lungs are still opening up, even though you're warmed up. I call that first one the opener, right? And that one does. You might get to the 30 seconds and go, well, that didn't even hurt, right? Don't worry, it's
Right.
coming. By the time you're at the end of the second and then third one, now you'll see that your heart rate is not coming all the way down in that 30 seconds.
Mhm.
And you'll notice that it's going up higher, getting you closer. Instead of hitting 90% of your aerobic capacity, now you're hitting 95, 96, 97, till eventually on that last one or the second to last one, you'll hit 100%. As a matter of fact, I told Anna, do 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah. I'm
Always
going
tell
to do
yourself,
6.
I'm going to do at least round. I'm going to do at least 5. And if I got any gas in the tank, I'm going to do a number 6. If you do number 6 and you don't get as high as you did on number 5, you know that you got it. You know you did everything you can do,
Okay.
right?
So
And
not
that's
10.
no, if you're doing 10, you weren't doing your capacity each time.
I was
This is
really
what
glad to hear
happens
you
with
say
starter.
that because 7, 8, 9, and 10 felt horrible to do.
Right, and you
But I
probably
felt
weren't
like I
getting
had to do
anywhere.
10 to do it, but you're saying
No,
6. So I
no,
think my
6 is
instincts were correct, but I, am really good at ignoring them.
If you can control the spit in your mouth after 3 or 4, you're not doing it right.
Okay.
You gotta put yourself
You have to be
in a
frothing.
trance to go. Like,
Okay.
if you ever watched, people doing cross-country skiing, like the sprints,
Oh
those
god.
guys have
That's
snot
gotta be
coming out of their
so
nose,
hard.
drool coming down,
Yeah.
because you can't even control. You're at your aerobic capacity. You don't have the capacity to control your own spit,
Right.
right? That's what I'm talking about. And it takes practice to get there. Anyone can do it. We're all mentally capable of getting there, but it takes a lot to get there, right? So you can do that. But if you get past 6, you're not doing something right. You're not really being honest with yourself on the other 5 sets. Like I said, on my 6th set, I'm going as hard as I can. And if I get to my peak, that means I didn't do the work I should have done early on. And that's whether I'm doing 30 seconds, 45, a minute, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And take it from me, I was talking to Don Coddington about this the other day.
Billionaire Don Coddington's Friday 5 o'clock.
He was asking me about some of my races. He said, I was like, yeah, I would always bring in, even on these really mountainous courses, the first 200 miles would always be between 9:30, maybe 9:45. It's like, so you were doing literally under 5 hour, 100-mile, because that means you're doing more than 20 miles an hour with,
Right. Right.
yeah.
That's crazy.
When you get in that kind of shape, you could do back to back under 5 hour, you know, centuries when you're in that kind of shape. As a matter of fact,
I
he
just don't wanna
thought,
be old and have asthma. That's all. I don't care about doing races. I just wanna
right,
not I just not wanna
right.
I don't wanna grow old and be sickly, that's all.
That's what doing a ton of zone 2 will do for you. And then once you have that volume built up, now you got to keep that volume going. And now once a week you can add this in. I can
Okay.
guarantee, like the Lance Armstrongs of the world that never rode in the spring classics or anything after he became Lance, right? When he wasn't a domestique anymore. Those guys, he was in California. I watched him riding in zone 2. He had his car behind. I remember guys would come back to Calabasas, was like, dude, I passed up Lance today. It's like, yeah, Lance is not blowing out of zone 2.
Right.
And then closer to the races, they would incorporate just a
Interesting.
little bit of, probably indoors. He
Sprinting.
probably didn't even do it as a matter of fact, I know he was doing it in the mountains because they would have like 100, they would have one stretch of 1 kilometer clicked off where he was start and finish on a climb, on a 7 to
Right.
9% climb, where they were saying, okay, this is where you start, this is where you stop. some of those marks are probably still on the road.
Like Cane and Doom? Like what area would that be?
The road that leads up to my buddy Miran's house. That was right outside from Scott's house. Right in. No, Cane and Dune wasn't one of them.
Wasn't steep enough?
More like Cane and Dune is very steep, but more like in Calabasas, but it's considered part of Malibu, the Malibu Mountains.
Right. Like Los Virgenes, Lost Hills.
Yeah, right in
Yeah.
that area. I can't think of the climb that was right there by Tallulah's dad's house.
Yeah.
But that was like a 4 or 5 mile climb, and those climbs mimicked the climbs on Mont Ventoux, the climbs on some of the climbs they would be doing in the Tour.
In the Tour de France, right?
Yeah, they would find the angles they needed, and they would replicate those climbs. And that particular climb, God, I wish I could remember the name of it. That was like a 4.5 mile up, and there was no reprieve. You're just 4.5 miles. You're going up the entire time, and the least grade you'll have is like 5%, but usually it's at 7 to 9%. So those are the kind of climbs, that you use those to work on that stuff. So you can actually do intervals when you're, on the road bike out on the road, if you have that kind of distance, right?
Yeah.
And boy, you want to talk about something that hurts.
Yeah, that sounds very hard.
It is just painful, Well,
me and the other moms probably aren't going to do that, but it'll be fun to jump on the bikes at home and do what you said. So thank you for clarifying.
Home now. I do it in the house now since I don't really ride outdoors.
I have an idea.
Sure.
Let's do a Villa Capelli ad.
We did one.
I have a feeling that whole thing's going to be cut.
No, it's not.
I think we should cut it.
Really?
Yeah. And in fact, you can't pause this, can you?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Deb.
Deb, you're going to have to do some cutting.
Let's do a Villa Capelli ad.
All right. Villa Capelli, folks, the best olive oil on the planet. Villa Capelli.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, you want Villa Capelli.
You want it. It is liquid gold, made for you in cold pressed, first pressed extra virgin olive oil from Puglia, Italy, early harvest. The best olive oil on the planet. It has a peppery finish that when you drink it, when you taste it naked, you can be naked, but you can also taste the oil naked without anything in there. You'll have a little because it has the Puglia pinch. Those are the polyphenols, you guys.
And it's good for you, even though it makes you choke. Listen, if you're choking on cigarette smoke, that's one thing. If you're choking on Villa Capelli, that's healthy. That's the kind of choking you want to do. Right?
Yeah, so head on over to villacapelli.com, or you can click through the banner ad at vinnietortorich.com and make sure, I think if they're sold out right now of oil, make sure you put your email address in there, because when Steven updates the quantities that they're in stock, or whoever does it in his warehouse, you're going to get an automatic email sent to you. You're going to click through that email and you're going to buy the olive oil as soon as you can, because you need to get that oil. And use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off your order each and every time. They've been a long-time sponsor of this podcast, but we've been talking about them for years before they even sponsor this podcast, because we love them so much. So support them. You won't regret it. It tastes amazing.
Yeah. What else we got, Anna? Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Look.
You know what? Let me tell you, listeners, you look hot today. You look really, really good.
You guys are smoke shows.
Smoke shows out there. We love you.
I have no idea what Anna's talking about.
I'm just saying, I'm pepping up the people. We're in their ears. They're driving to work. They're running. They're sitting at home doing house chores, like whatever's happening. I want to speak directly to you, listeners. You look good. Keep doing your NSNG. We're rooting for you.
Folks, Anna Vocino has eathappykitchen.com. Go to Eat Happy. Is it Eat Happy Kitchen? What is it, Anna?
Really?
I can't remember my own stuff.
Eathappykitchen.com. Yes.
That's what I said.
I know, but what you had to ask?
I know, but it's like that doesn't sound right. I thought maybe it
doesn't sound right.
Sounds like it should be eathappy.com. I
Oh,
don't
it's
know why.
not. They were selling eathappy.com for like $50,000. We're like, no, buy
Yeah,
eathappykitchen.com.
eathappy.com. Go there for all of your Eat Happy Kitchen accoutrement. Look, Serena's upstairs right now. I know for a fact she's cooking right now using Anna's stuff because I can hear podcasts going on up there. She listens to Dave Ramsey while she cooks.
I love
So,
it.
yeah. So I wish she would listen to us, but she never does.
Funny how that works.
But she does use all of Anna's powders and sauces and everything else. And we also use Anna's cookbooks, Eat Happy and Eat Happy 2.
Yeah.
So go check all of that out. You know what to do. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner, puts coal in the fire, gets our train down the track. Also, look, I've been helping a couple of people who have done past consults with me, some of them several consults. And I just decided to try to help them, for free for a while. And it works. Look, I can't do it for everyone, but if you want a consult, you know where to find me. Go to VinnieTortorich.com. Go check out the consults.
And you'll hear him say, Anna, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But in the most loving way possible. Actually, I'm totally kidding, but you guys should book a consult with Vinnie because it's really, I get to call him for free, but that's because he hogtied me and made me produce his podcast for years. So I feel like I could cash that chip in for a little while.
And she's been cashing it in left and right.
But you guys call and get a consult with Vinnie. Don't underestimate how powerful it is to have that coaching and that support.
Yeah, don't mess around and go, it's too expensive. It's this, that. Do it because it will get you on the road to freedom, man. So go check that out. I'm not gonna play any song on the end of this. Debbie's got enough work to do on this podcast.
You finally are showing some mercy.
Sorry, Debbie,
we love you, Deb.
Folks, go back 1 week and listen to what's his name, Doctor. You guys really want to hear this? Who is it? Oh, Dr. Thomas Seyfried. I had him on last week.
He really can't remember anything, you guys.
No, go back. I got the CTE. Go back and listen to Dr. Thomas Seyfried. And everyone's telling me.
What did he talk about?
We talked about cancer as a metabolic disease, and that, if people do things right, even if you get cancer, you can take a lot less chemo and all this it's pretty fascinating what he's been able to do. It was the second time Thomas has been on the show. Love having that guy on. So go check it out. You really want to hear that one. Anna, you and I will be doing this again tomorrow, right? Because we got to stack Monday because I'm going to be out of town. So
we're going to get 2 weeks in one.
Mm-hmm. On behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.